Okay, so looks like we are live, and we are going to wait just a few minutes for people to join us. So we are so excited to be here. We do this every Wednesday. I am Deb with Top Weddings, and we do this live every Wednesday. The reason why we do this live is to help engaged couples that are planning a wedding. And today I do have Patty with Simply Delicious. She's going to be joining us, and we'll introduce her here in just a few minutes. But we'll wait for some more people to log on. And if you are joining us, if you're watching live, make sure that you like and comment so that we know that you're here. And would be even better to share it because obviously we want to try to reach as many engaged couples as possible. Especially, we have such a good group of topics today with Patty. So just to tell you a little bit about Top Weddings, if you haven't heard of us before, again, I'm Deb with Top Weddings, and we are a local wedding website, local to 417 area. So we help anyone that's engaged in the 417 area. If you haven't checked out the website, make sure you go do that. It's www.topweddingsmo.com. And there you'll find we are giving away a $100 gift card right now. So you can go and enroll, put in for that $100 gift card. We also have over 50 wedding professionals on the website, so that you can actually go to any category that you're looking for and then go look at the different wedding professionals inside that category. And then you can go look at their page, and on their page we have amazing photos of their work and also an interview that we've did with every single wedding professional. If they're on the website, we've did a personal interview with them. And then also right on that page is a contact form, because we try to make it easy for you to find wedding professionals. So make sure you go check out the website. And we also do featured weddings every week. We just started this about, I think, 5 or 6 weeks ago, and we have had some amazing, beautiful featured weddings. Last week, we did a featured wedding that's actually on our social media, but also on a blog on the website. And we had Bryce and Ann. We featured their wedding, and it was absolutely stunning. So make sure you go check that out. You can go look at those weddings for inspiration for yours, or just look at some beautiful images. And Complete Photography did that. So Cassie shot that wedding for Bryce and Ann. And then the week before, we did a featured engagement session that was Josh and Katie, and Christine Bonnevier shot that engagement session, and it's so cute. So we actually have a featured page. So if you have a few minutes, go look at that featured page. So looks like we have about 7. Okay, not sure what happened, Patty. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
If you heard me yell, all of a sudden the screen just went blank. So I am going to get this set back up. Hang on just one second. Sorry, guys, technical.
That's why they call it live.
Yes, technical issues. So let's get that undone. So thank you all for joining. Again, if you're watching, make sure that you like and comment. We want to see that, know who's here with us. And if you have any questions for Patty, make sure that you comment those, ask those in the comments as well, because we want to answer any questions that you have. And let me make sure that, that we've covered everything. So I think so. We go live every Wednesday at 5 o'clock to help engage couples that are planning a wedding. So hopefully this is going to help you. And And again, if you have any questions, make sure that you comment. So, Patty, are you ready?
I am ready.
So today we have Patty with Simply Delicious Catering. We just, if you do not know Patty, when you meet her, you just love her, and so thankful for her being here. She has been in the wedding industry for quite a while, and I'm going to let her tell you about herself. So Patty, tell us about you.
All right. So I am Patty Wingo. I own and operate Simply Delicious Catering. Started out as a personal chef. I would paralegal during the day, and then my personal chef business got really busy. Needed to do bigger groups than just obviously, a family, a private home. And so I operated out of the Diamond Room, where I am now still to this day. Been doing it since officially catering since 2001, but I was personal chefing for several years before that, and absolutely love it. I'm really into service and enjoy food and still all the creativity. I am married, 2 girls. They're phenomenal, and Kate and Kelsey, and I've got a little zoo here at home. I've got 2 cats and a dog that are crazy. So yeah, but it's a lot of fun.
We did a practice run yesterday, and so we got to see Patty's golden doodle, and then one of the 2 cats. So they were quite comical.
Wanted to be on camera today. They are locked up. So.
So yes, she has a really beautiful golden doodle. Oh my goodness. But he, like she was saying yesterday, is quite a handful.
Yeah. He's only 9 months. So if you can imagine, it's like having a toddler.
I love it. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and start with the first topic. So our first topic that Patty is going to cover is the benefits of hiring a caterer. Let me get our slides pulled. Oh goodness, sorry, Patty. Let me get our slides pulled up here. Okay, so let's go ahead and start.
Okay, so
benefits of caterer.
The benefits, I think, of hiring a caterer. So a lot of times families will come to me specifically, typically the bride's family, most often, and they'll come in very stressed, very worried, how does this work? What's it going to cost me? All these things. And so what I try to make them understand or give them the confidence in that what it does by hiring somebody like, myself and Simply Delicious Catering is your family can enjoy the event. I think the hardest thing is when, mom and dad need to be taking photos with the bride and groom. Mom and dad need to, they have to be just as social as the bride and groom, as this is their friends and family as well. So when I hear that they're going to try and do it on their own, like we've had a meeting, they maybe had a tasting, or they just figured out what it might cost, and then I get an email back that says, oh, we've decided we're going to do it on our own. It worries me for them because, my heart is service. Everything that we do through our catering company is all about just allowing your guest and your family to enjoy the event. If they're worried about whether or not the tea has been refilled or the dirty dishes have been picked up, or they're off taking photos for cocktail hour and don't know if the food was ever put out for cocktail hour, what they brought, it can be stressful. And so it's really important to me that when hiring a caterer, so that mom, dad, aunt, grandma, we cut the cake, the whole 9 yards. We don't want them to have to worry about it. And so I feel like your family can look back at that most important day of your life and have enjoyed it and not said it went so fast because I was worried about X, Y, and Z. So I think catering, obviously it's what I do for a living, but I think it's one of the most important parts of your day.
Yeah.
Other reasons, obviously right now too, with COVID, and even just in general, Hygiene and food safety standards are huge. Guests are going to be worried about traveling. Guests are going to be worried about coming in and how is this food prepared? How is this food, I cook out of a licensed kitchen. I have, I'm in Greene County, so the health department comes and sees me quarterly. I have access to them, ask any questions. I was calling them as all of this was going on to say what's going to happen in our county so that I can give my clients the best advice on how to serve and what to serve and those kind of things. So washing hands, wearing masks. We're going to go into a little bit more about COVID-19 itself, but just in general, I think guests will feel like it was prepared properly. They see a professional, we're in uniform, our hair is up, it's under a hat, all of those things really play a factor versus somebody maybe getting a hair in their food, or, they see, especially one time I had a family member and they wore a cowboy hat, which was great, but then her hair was down to her shoulders. She had just trimmed open a bag of frozen fruit, stuck it in a foil pan, and then walked away for it from several hours. It wasn't covered. Everybody was walking by that food station. It was just a part that they were adding to our catering. And, I personally wouldn't eat from something like that. So I think hygiene and food safety standards are a big part of it, especially right now with everybody's unsettling. They're just not sure who, what, where, how, why. I'm not going to eat that. And so by showing our professionalism, knowing what we know what to do, having a hand washing station, all those things, I think will play a big factor as we move forward in 2020.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So the other thing is, I feel like sometimes when family does it, some of the reasons I totally understand our budget, totally get that. But there are ways to still do it right. But I feel like guests feel pampered. We're refilling their drinks. We are clearing their plates. We're serving from the left, clearing from the right. We know the techniques. We've got gloves on. Sometimes I feel like, and not that this is a wrong thing, but it can almost feel like a potluck. If you don't have the chafers that are keeping the food hot, or ice baths or things like that keep the temps. So I want your family to just enjoy the day. I mean, you have been preparing for maybe a year, maybe 18 months for 8 hours. And these are some of the most important 8 hours of your life. So why be worried about whether or not something's been refilled, or again, that dirty plate in front of a guest? That's a big one for me. I want your guests to feel pampered. We are telling them what's on the menu. We're serving the buffet. We're being able to describe what's in the ingredients. So, for example, if the family has made the food and they have to go and now be social, or somebody's pulled them aside to go do a photo or something like that, people may not even know what they're eating. And so I really feel like that extra level of service can come from a caterer that the family just doesn't have time to do. It's not that they don't want to, they just don't have time.
Yeah.
It also takes a lot of stress off the family. And in that, creating a menu is time consuming, and preparing the food is time consuming. And then storing the food is, something that, do you have enough food storage? Do you have proper food storage? Most of the venues in our area, in about a 60-mile radius, most have kitchens, but they're like a staging area, right? You might have a fridge and a freezer, but that's really about it. Or maybe a household oven. But, are you starting to worry about, okay, man, it's 20 degrees hotter than I thought it was going to be? Just even think about wedding cakes. Those are so difficult to travel with, like in a summer month. So imagine it's your entree, starch, vegetable salad, and dinner roll, and you're having to worry about some of those things. So it's for us, you walk in, you have the creative process of sitting together and building a menu that's all about you. We give you a free tasting. You come in, eat a great meal for free. Then if you like it, you sign a contract, put down the deposit, and we show up 45 minutes before your ceremony. We prepared all your food for you. We served it all. We cleared it all. We cut and served your cake out. We made sure it was you had tea and water available to the guests that didn't drink. If it's a venue that allows, our traveling bar service can come with it. Like, you don't have to think about anything except enjoying the day with your family. And that's huge for me. So I think that stress level is a big part of it. And until you've gone and done it yourself, because I do have a lot of families that will come and say, I did my daughter's wedding and I'm not doing that again. You'll understand. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and then creative menus. Families, again, they kind of fall into like a box sometimes, like, and there's, again, none of these things there's wrong things. These are just the positives of why I think a caterer is important. And, family favorites. I mean, we make them. I had one in December where the mom was Hispanic and the bride wanted her beans, this like a certain kind of charro beans. And, I made them on my own first, and then they came for the tasting, and mom said, oh, I use way more bacon, etc. And she brought me a recipe and I made them, and they said they were better than hers, but the bride still got what she wanted, used a family recipe, and mom didn't have to be cooking the night before, right? Or 2 nights before, or a month before, and then freezing everything. And then as far as creative, I mean, I'm so fortunate, but an amazing food staff that all are big foodies, love food, always trying to change it up. So I feel like we've got a few more options, access to a whole lot more. Again, especially now with COVID-19, you're walking into the stores and the products you may want aren't there. And I'm going to have access to wholesalers and local purveyors and things like that help me create the menu you're looking for. So those are the reasons I believe, the benefits of hiring a caterer far outweigh the desire to save a couple dollars per person. I totally understand budgets and I don't take that lightly. But I think a caterer can really make your day special and allow you to enjoy the day with your family.
Absolutely. And I know we're going to get into creative menu ideas because we have lots of photos that we'll talk about here in just a second. But I do, one of the things that we continue to stress, I feel like in these lives is the reception. If you're a couple that's planning a wedding, once you get to that reception, you want to just enjoy it. And food is a big part of that. I mean, there's a lot of things that play into the reception, but food is a big part of it. And, just like with Patty, I feel like every wedding professional feels the same way, that as much as family wants to help, they don't necessarily want to not be around and see all of the people because they're, having to do all the little details and, just like you said, put the food out and everything else. It really allows everyone to just enjoy the reception. Just like you said, you've worked so hard to get to this point, and this is the time that you just get to relax and have fun and enjoy it. And and it is it's just, catering has everything to do with it. That's the way you win right to a person's heart, is through their stomach. So, and I can tell you that Patty's food is something that when you hear, oh my gosh, Simply Delicious is catering, you're like, oh yes. So, and we've even ordered, now that we can order right now, obviously, I don't know that this is going to continue, but you can actually order it through the week. And I can tell you, it's like so exciting. As we were going through this presentation earlier, I'm like, oh my gosh, what are we going to order this week? I think next week. So anyway, I could talk about Patty's food forever. So, and the other thing that I will tell you, I give Patty a hard time about this, so I feel like I have to do it while we're live too. If you have not watched this woman cut a cake, you are missing out on something that is absolutely art. The way she cuts a cake is phenomenal, and her staff does it as well. But we have lots of times went to go just shoot you doing the cake because it's so much fun to watch, and she can flat cut a cake in no time at all.
I have, because of what you said, I always tell my brides, I'm a cake cutting ninja, shoo, 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 shoo. So It's fun, you know. I actually enjoy it. I don't know. There's something very therapeutic about it for me, where a lot of people are like, "Oh, I'm not cutting the cake. I don't want that responsibility," you know. And I've really always enjoyed it. I don't know why, but I like to get it done. It's kind of like the end of our process. Typically, as the cake is cut, you know, after dinner service or after the meal. And I don't know. There's just something really. It's just like a little finishing touch for me, and I really enjoy the level of service. So.
Well, it's fun to watch, and your guests get their cake so quickly because
Yeah.
it's cut so quickly. If you've ever,
they're always waiting in line for the cake. So
yes, and if you've not ever cut a wedding cake, I can tell you it's not an easy task, and nobody gets excited about cutting the cake. So I love that is, you know, part of the service. I think that all has to do with just allowing yourself, you know, at your wedding, at your reception, just enjoying that, being able to enjoy that whole evening. And, you know, just like you said, including cleanup, nobody gets excited because they have to go clear the tables. There's a lot that has to be cleaned up at the end of the night. But the more that you can give that to wedding professionals, the more that, again, everybody can enjoy themselves and not stress. Yeah, this is the part you want to enjoy. Okay, so anything, I know this topic is not done because we've got lots of creative menus. I just wanted to stop before we went off of the screen before I forgot. So anything else that you want to add to before we get into the creative menu ideas?
No, not yet.
Okay. All right. So I had to put this first because Patty, no, this is like my biggest comfort food that I think I've ever had. And one thing that you'll hear, and anytime you're working with a professional chef, you'll hear the way they describe food. So Patty, can you tell us what this is?
So we had, for a short time, we had a restaurant, it was actually a couple years, trying to offer lunch service to our local community for people, again, who, you know, maybe use this for catering, but it's not like they're going to cater 5 weddings in a row or have a need maybe necessarily for catering again very quickly. So we opened up a restaurant called the Fork and Spoon, and this was the balsamic beef, and it is phenomenal. It's beef shoulder. It is slow roasted with a balsamic gravy, caramelized onions, fresh parsley, and this is on a bed of aged white cheddar mashed. And it's probably one, like if we put a poll up on Facebook, for example, or something like that, it would be the one that I think people would request that we bring back. It's comfort food. It's fork tender. It's absolutely one of my favorite beef dishes because, you know, it's not as expensive as beef tenderloin, and it's a little bit nicer than brisket. So for the person that's kind of trying to, you know, feed 300, which is a lot of people to feed, this is a great choice in the fall or winter months.
Yeah, and you notice, and for all of you, I know there's quite a few that are watching live. You'll be hungry by the time we get done. So we'll just put that disclaimer out, especially as
I'm going to reach into the camera and see if I can pluck that. That does look good for dinner. Yeah.
Yeah. When Patty starts describing food, you're like, okay, yes. All right. So
okay, that's our crab. That's our deconstructed crab rangoon. That's a great. So a lot of people want to put seafood, sushi, things like that into their menu. And this one is called deconstructed crab rangoon dip. It's got real crab in it, a little Thai chili sauce, deep fried wontons. We also serve it in like little mini martinis. This is called a passed app or a butlered app. We call this so that guests can, you know, pull an individual appetizer. This is a great photo too, Deb, in that with COVID moving forward, this is how past apps are going to have to be. They're going to have to be in their own self-contained container. We'll have a server that'll be gloved. The guest will actually not reach onto our trays. We'll be passing them out by glove or tongue, depending on the item. But this is a great photo to show, even though we've already been doing it, this will be the way we're going to need to be doing it moving forward.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that's a great point. And again, one of the topics that we have that's coming up is about COVID. So we will get into more detail about that. But thank you for doing that as we go, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
Roasted vegetables. You know, I get so tired of like the same like vegetable medley or corn or green beans or asparagus. This one is awesome. This is just our grilled vegetable platter. It's typically served room temperature. It has a balsamic reduction and fresh feta on top. We can mix and match the vegetables based on season. Here you're seeing like zucchini, squash, red bells, red onion, and green bells. And we would, you know, change it out based on the time of year. But it's just a stunning presentation, crowd pleaser, and nice big chunks so people can kind of pick out what they want. But typically this platter will go really fast. This is a great choice to something a little bit different. And honestly, year round, it doesn't have to be like a summer dish, but it does go really well then.
Perfect.
One of my absolute favorite things to do, and I don't know if we're going to still be able to do it, but this is what I call a charcuterie board. Fancy name for fruit, cheese, veg, cured meats. Here, this particular one does not have any vegetables on it, but it's got like homemade jams, about mid-screen, maybe right around the grapes and the strawberries. You'll see our champagne grape that's been a grape marinated in champagne, rolled in goat cheese and candied pecans. All the cheeses are hand-cut, artisan-style cheeses. I love this. You know, we're going to talk about food trends. Hands down, this is where it was heading prior to the COVID, but I just don't know what the parameters of the individual cities and counties are going to allow us to do, because people, like you see in this picture, somebody's actually using the tongs. But honestly, a lot of times people are just walking by and they're picking straight off of that. So that's going to be the issue. But these are stunning and just great during a cocktail hour, or if your meal is kind of meat heavy, this is a great add-on. Very affordable, in my opinion, for as much work. And then it's just done every time. It looks different. It's very artistic, but it's one of my favorite things to do. I could eat my meal just like this. I could eat this board for dinner. So.
It looks so good.
Good. Oh. Makes me happy. Okay, so this is our homemade candy pecans. So we try to make all of our salad dressings. We candy our pecans. This has blueberries, goat cheese, a lemon vinaigrette. This is one of our newest salads. It is so good. It's just the level of flavor, like the depth of flavor in this lemon dressing. And then you add the sweet and tart with the blueberries and the like, almost like the smokiness of the goat cheese. This is a really nice salad. And most of our salads, other than Caesar, include like a mixture of field greens and chopped romaine. So you get crunch and texture both. And I'm a big fan of that, not just a really soft lettuce or just like iceberg. I'm not an iceberg fan, but just romaine, for example, it gives a little color to your salad. Oh my gosh. If I could take this one off my menu. We have been making this for years. This one is hands down the most ordered. This is our Tuscan chicken. So this is Parmesan encrusted, a light garlic cream sauce. So similar to Alfredo, just doesn't have Parmesan in it. So I don't call it Alfredo. It's got sun-dried tomatoes, green onions, and a balsamic reduction. If you look really close underneath the front chicken breast, you can see it's also on a bed of the aged white cheddar mashed. It's outstanding. I mean, it's pretty, it tastes good. Kids eat it. And then like, if you don't like onion, for example, or you don't like tomatoes, we can change out the garnish with like roasted reds and fresh parsley. But this meal is well received. I don't care who, what, where, graduations, weddings, birthday parties, funerals. I mean, this dish goes all the time. We are doing it curbside this week, as a matter of fact. And it's really a popular dish.
And it's so good.
Yeah, it is so good. It's just, we're in the kitchen making it all the time, but and so we get, we like the creativity, but it is a fantastic dish. Yeah. Okay, so it looks here like we just have a little filet mignon, some roasted reds. That looks like salmon, smoked salmon. Smothered green beans are in the back, and then our homemade house rolls. So we proof our rolls. They come out of the oven. We dip them in garlic butter, Parmesan, and parsley. This is a fantastic, this is what we call a duo or a duet. So if you want to do a plated food service, but you don't want to have to worry about assigned seating, this is a great way to allow 2 proteins on the plate. Smaller. They're not, so typically like our chicken breast that you saw, that Tuscan, that was 6 ounces. So what we do here is like 4 and 4, so that guests still get 8 ounces. If they don't like salmon, for example, they'll typically swap out with their significant other or neighbor at the table. And then these are just some roasted redskins that have been parboiled, stripped to give them a little crunch and texture, so that you see a little bit of the skin and a little bit of the meat of the potato. And they just are like butter. They're really delicious. So this is a fun one. This is a good duo. This is a great choice.
Yeah, and really should have ate before we started.
I know, even my stomach's grumbling.
Why did I not order Simply Delicious today? Okay.
Oh man, so we really miss not having Mother's Day brunch this year. It was so hard to not have people in our venue in the diamond room. We did do curbside, but of course something like this couldn't really go out curbside. This was just a really nice stepped up croque sandwich, fried egg, homemade guac, smoked bacon. It's on a bed of like a sourdough with a bechamel. It was, and then you see a roasted poblano off to the right. Yeah, it's delicious. Yeah, I'm very much into the Southwest. I like all kinds of food: Southwest, Asian, Thai, Italian. I mean, I really do like barbecue, just about anything. So you'll see a very wide variety in our menu.
That just looks so good.
I know. I'm so bummed that we missed Mother's Day.
Yeah, I am too.
So this was a great photo shoot that you came and did for us. So in the front, the bacon wrapped chicken breasts are our smokehouse. So they're pounded out, stuffed with smoked cheddar, wrapped in an applewood bacon. And then instead of barbecue sauce over the top of that, that's actually our Matt's barbecue mop. One of my key people in the kitchen. He's awesome. And so what it does is it caramelizes the bacon to the chicken, and you cut into it and that cheese just oozes out. It's really nice. The protein behind that you see the pineapple garnish on, that's one of our new appetizers. Those are some pork riblets. So it's a little tiny bone-in, super tender pork. It's in a like a Korean barbecue sauce, and it's got a pineapple pico over the top. To the right of that pork is our double baked potato casserole. So it's our garlic mash that has like sour cream, cheddar, bacon, green onion. And then the salad is our bistro. So field greens, chopped romaine, cucumbers. This one has feta, pistachios, dried cherries, and apple cider vinaigrette. So this is an appetizer and a full meal here. But these are great photos from you. This looks really nice. And then this is salad on a stick, caprese salad skewer, fresh mozz, fresh basil, fresh tomatoes, and you can tell like just seasonally we had a really great pop of color. These are very inexpensive, a great way to pass an app. I always tell people, like if they're drinking a glass of wine or have a cold beer, it's really nice to have things that are on a skewer, for example, because then your guest doesn't have to they don't have to set their drink down.
Right.
And these are really light, very refreshing, and always very well received, no matter, gluten-free. These are gluten-free. They're not dairy-free, but or vegan, but they are vegetarian and gluten-free. So this is a great choice as a past step.
Okay. So that was the end of our creative menu part of it. So we will get to the next topic here in just a minute. Is there anything else that you want to cover as far as the benefits of hiring a caterer?
No, I think you just need to decide what's the most important thing for your day. And if that's so that, your family can enjoy the event, I think you'll make a good decision in hiring somebody that will handle food service for you. So catering, I think, is very important to the day. People always remember the food. I have people who are now ordering curbside that were past brides and grooms that say it was 9 years ago and people are still talking about the food. I mean, that's the biggest compliment I could ever get.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think I think one of the things that you touched on was just being able to the wide variety of what all you're doing. It's not just you're bringing food and dropping it, you're serving it, you're cleaning up afterwards, you're cutting the cake, you're doing so much more. So and I know you touched on this for just a second, but with every couple that's planning a wedding, they can come in and meet with you and go over a menu, and and I think all of that really helps to be able to decide what you are wanting. There's a lot of options. I think for all caterers, it's not just what they have that they make all the time. They're willing to help create whatever you're wanting, what you've envisioned as far as your food, but there's so much more that comes with that. And and just like you said, for me, once you get to the reception, if you've planned a wedding for months, sometimes years, sometimes just a few months, but usually it's years you've been planning, and once you get to that reception, you want the family and you want to just enjoy it with everybody. And again, catering has so much to do with that. So I'm going to tell you, Austin Barton put a comment and said, literally just picked up Simply Delicious meal to go. Freaking love their bacon wrapped pork tenderloin.
Yeah.
So yes, so good.
Yeah, I saw his order come in. It was awesome. So I love the support we're getting from all the local vendors too.
Yes. Yeah. Well, we're all excited because, when you've been in the wedding industry for a long time, you get excited depending on who the caterer is, because most professionals that are staying during the reception, usually they get to eat. And so you get all excited because, this weekend you're going to get, whatever food from whatever caterer, and you get so excited. And then with everything that's been going on, it's like, oh, we don't get wedding meals. So yeah, it's been a huge blessing to have be able to order Patty's food, and you can do that on a weekly basis. They put out a weekly menu. I'll just go ahead and put that out there.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So okay.